Hi and welcome in this video, it's Sylvain Favre and today I will show you how to create this image. I used Cinema 4D R20 and with physical render, so I will show you about some stuff about lighting, material, modelization, importing objects, etc. I hope you will like this video. Before starting, let me introduce you to the motion designers community. You have a very awesome Facebook groups where you can share your work and ask some question if you don't find the answer on Google. And here you can vote for the next topic of our next event. You will find the event on the website of the community. So go on mdcommunity.net and you have a contest tab. The coordinator is already closed. And very soon you will have another one. You have in the tutorials tab some awesome English tutorials. If you need some inspiration, you can go on the motion designers Instagram. You can use this hashtag to get featured, and if you want just to have some inspiration, it's really awesome. Every day you have 6 new posts. So let's start this tutorial. The first step is to download a free object material on the internet. So I suggest you to use a CG Trader website, it's very awesome, and I really like to use TurboSquid. On CG Trader, you just have to tap what you want, for example, the animals, and you can check here this box to have some free objects. And I use this object. I suggest you to download object with OBJ format, FBX, 3ds it's not working, and STL is working in Cinema 4D R20. So once you downloaded your object, you can go in Cinema 4D and import your object. So click on File, Merge, and you can double click on the object. Here it's my deer. Double click. By default, all options are perfect. Hit OK, and I have my animals. By default, your object is already selected. So in here, in size, I can check the size. It's important to have a realistic size. It's not about 10 centimeters, but an animal is not 1 kilometer height. Okay, so here I can see that my animals is 1 meter height. Okay, 1 meter, 2 meters, 3 meters, you don't care. But sometimes you will have something like 1 kilometer. So no, you have to decrease the size. To manage the size of your deer, select your object and select the scale tool. Click in the empty space and drag and drop. And as you can see, it's working. Okay, cool. At this point, I want to set up my composition. So it's very important to have the good format for your image. If you will work for Instagram pictures, you will need to have the correct width and height. So if you want a square image, you put this value here and here. And if you want to have a rectangle for Instagram, you will set up this value. I guess those kind of composition will be better than a square one. So now I need to create a camera to set up the correct angle, a good point of view. Just click here and you create a camera. By default, the camera is created where you are in the perspective view. If I create a cube, the object will always be in the center of the world, but not cameras, as you can see. Okay, so to move this camera, you have to go inside it. To go inside the camera, you have to click here. When this option is white, you are in the camera, and when you move in your 3D view, you are moving the camera. When you want to go out, you just have to click on these options, and when it's in a dark gray, you can see the camera and you move the default view of Cinema 4D. Okay, so go inside your camera and let's set up something cool. To help you to have a good composition, you can go in the composition tab and hit grid. And here you have the rule of third on your screen. As you can see, here you have two darker gray rectangles, and in the final image you will not see those parts. If you hit the render button here, you will see the render, okay? But if you start the final render, the image is cropped, okay? It's for that the rule of third is only in the center part. Try to put eyes on a strength point or a strength line, okay? I will modify a little bit my focal length to have something more beautiful. So I will decrease the value, something like that. Much. I guess 29 is good. Okay. Take your time to create a very nice composition. Okay, I did it very quickly here because you don't care about seeing me doing that. But here, if you put the rule of third, you can see how I made it. Okay, now my camera is perfectly on place, so I want to protect it, because if I move my camera accidentally, I have to retry to put the camera at the right place. If you move your camera, you can hit Ctrl, Shift and Z to undo a camera movement. If you hit Ctrl Z, you will undo an action, and Ctrl Shift Z will undo a camera movement. So it can be very helpful. But I don't want to move my camera again. So right click on your camera, go in Cinema 4D tags and select the protection. The protection tags will lock the position, the scale and the rotation of your camera. Now I can't move anymore. If you want to move, just go out of your camera and wow. Okay, I will disable the visibility of my camera because it's very ugly and disappointing for me to have a camera in my perspective view. So hit one time on these dots and hit a second time to have a red dot. My camera still exists, but I can see it in my perspective view. Cool. Now let's try to have the same modelization than me. I use the atom array. Let me show you how it works. So when my mouth is on my perspective view, I hit Ctrl N to create a new project. I will create a sphere and I will put my sphere as a child of my atom array. And as you can see, you have some cylinders and spheres. I need to show you the topology of my sphere to understand. So go in Display and select Guru Shading Lines. And then B is the shortcut. And don't move your mouse. B. Okay, as you can see, every edges will be replaced by a cylinder and every point will become a sphere. Magic. So if I go back in my project and I hit NB, I can see my topology. It's not the same than on my pictures. It's not a stylized topology. So we have to modify this topology. It's very simple. You have the polygon reduction. If you use an older version than me, I'm on the R20, you will find these options here. It's the same triangle, but now it's blue. When you use a deformer, deformers are blue. You have to put the deformer as a child of your object. And now the deformer will modify my object. I can delete it. And when you use a green options, you need to put your object as a child. So I put my deer in the polygon reduction, and each polygons will be deleted and be replaced by huger triangles. It depends about the form of your object. And now it's quite the same. Very nice. Okay, and now I want to put my polygon reduction as a child of my atom array to have my spheres and cylinder. Here it's very funny result, but if we decrease the sphere radius like 0.1, you have a good result. To change the display, you can hit NA, and it's more easy for the eyes to understand what you have. It's display guru shading, NA. My computer is not stable at all, so when I have too many options like this, the risk to have a crash is very high, so I will edit my object. But it's very important to have backup. I will show you how to create a backup. I create a null object. It's like a folder for me, and I double click here and I set backup. I will duplicate my creation and I will put it in the backup. I create a backup every time before I will edit my creation, okay? In the backup, I will deactivate everything I can deactivate. So here it's the deactivation options, okay? And I don't want to see my backup folder, so I click on backup, basics, and I will set off for the visible in editor and off in visible in renderer. As you can see here, I have two red dots. To modify very quickly those dots, hit Alt and click on one dot. And as you can see, they are changing together. Okay, in red, it's not visible at all. So now I have a nice backup. And it will not take power to your computer to have that kind of folder. Okay, so now I select my atom array and I will edit my object. Okay, here I have a null. When you see a plus here, you have many objects inside this folder. Here I have my deer, so I up. Okay, so now I have my objects. It's just polygon. It's very easy for your computer to keep it in mind. And if at any time I need to add more polygons, or I want to move the value of my polygon reduction, I can use again my atom array. So up, I drag and drop my atom array, I hit Control to duplicate it. I just have to activate them, go in object, and decrease the value. For example, okay, now if you look at my image, you have glass parts between cylinders. So let's create it. To create the glass part, I will use again the deer with my polygon reduction. So I duplicate this. I activate my polygon reduction. When your computer is working, you can see it here. Look here, and up. I'm working. Boom, it's finished. Okay, so this part, I will edit it, is the glass part. So I will rename it glass. You just have to double click on the object to rename it cylinder part. Okay, and now we have to set some materials on it. To create materials, you can double click here. Here it's your material manager. I have matte, okay, so it's basic materials. Double click on it to modify your material. I will start by the glass, so I name it glass. And to create a glass, I need to activate the transparency. So check this box. And now you can only see two white dots. Those dots are reflectance. Okay. To see a real glass, you need to change the refraction preset. So use beer if you want the refraction of beer, glass, and for my image, I use jade. Okay, as you can see. Oh. Now let's create another material for the cylinders parts. You have three materials. You have the basic materials, okay, by double clicking. You have the PBR materials. It's the same, but the preset is not the same. When with the basics material, you have a color checked. With the PBR materials, you don't have colors, and the reflectance channel is different. I prefer the PBR material. It's better because you don't need to use the global illumination here to have a very realistic render. If you don't understand, it's okay, but if you have a little experience with Cinema 4D, you know that global illumination is very long, complicated. And with this material, you don't need PBR, global illumination, so it's really nice. And in Cinema 4D R20, you have new materials. You have the node materials, and it's very awesome. Here you have some presets, and I used the marble preset, and it's really nice. So to apply your material to your object, you can drag and drop the material and release your click on the object. And boom, you have a new tag, you have a texture tag. On the glass, I already have textures. I don't care, I put my glass on my object, and Cinema 4D will use the latest tags. So this is the first texture tag, and this is the second texture tag. I can have... Okay. Now if I hit enter, you can see I have my marble parts and I have my glass parts. Let's check my creation. As you can see, here you have one piece, and here you have a second piece, etc. It's not smooth. But here you can see that reflections are very smooth. It's quite strange. So we have to fix that, and it's really easy. We will do it with the font tag. Let me explain you what is the font tag. So let me show you the font tag. When you create an object, here you have these white dots. These dots is reflections. And as you can see, it's a perfect circle on my sphere. But I do not have too many polygons, okay? Normally, I have 1 dots for 1 polygon. So click on the font tag here, and you have a font angle. If I decrease this value, you can see that the smoothing is not working everywhere. And when I have very low value, I can see each polygon very clearly. It's very awesome features to have perfect sphere with not too many polygons. Okay, to have a perfect sphere here, I have to increase. And okay, now for me it's a perfect sphere, but I have too many polygons. So let's go here and go on your glass part, select the font tag and font angle, set it to 0. And as you can see, now you have the same result. Everything smooth, nothing. Cool. Now I need to explain you how Cinema 4D calculate glass material. Here you have two spheres with the same materials, The sphere inside are the same. And the difference is that this sphere is full and this is a bubble. Let me show you. I need to okay. Here it's the basic sphere, okay? If I edit my sphere with the C button of my keyboard, if I remove one polygon or more, you can see it's very thin, okay? But this one, if I remove some polygons, you can see it's not, you have a thick part. And for Cinema 4D, it's very important when you use a refraction, transparent material. Because when you have a polygon, you have a yellow side and you have a blue side. The yellow side is the front of your polygon and the blue side is the back of your polygons. When you use a transparent object, the light will go in the object by the yellow side and go out by the green side. When your sphere is full, the light will go in a glass and stay in the glass until it go out. So you have one refraction here, and after you will have a second one. In this case, you will have the first refraction here, then a second refraction here, then the light go through your sphere, okay, and hit another glass and go in and then go out. Boom, okay? So in my render here, I don't have, it's a thin part, okay? So my deer is full of glass and I don't want it, okay? Here you can see through the glass like your window. Your window is, you have a thickness, okay? So let's do it. Select the glass part, select the polygons mode. Now I can select polygons. Hit Ctrl A to select all polygons. I go out of my camera, zoom very close up, make a nice close up. Right click on an empty space and select the extrude options. Now hit and drag and drop. Boom. It's making something very strange, you don't care. In offset, set minus 0.01. Okay, I retry, talk, remove, minus 0.01, enter, okay. Now you can see the difference. The value is too big, okay, so I add 0.3, okay, nice. Here you can see the thickness. Hit create caps to close and keep the original shape. So now I have a thick glass, everything. So here it's atmosphere, here it's glass, here it's atmosphere again, and hop, you hit again glass, you are in the glass, and you are in the atmosphere. It makes a very huge difference for the final render. Okay, so issues for the glass are fixed. Materials, it's okay. Modelization, it's okay. You just have to create nice lighting to see, to have a good render. Let's start lighting. To create nice lighting, you need to add some lights and HDRI. To add HDRI, you have to click here and select sky. Sky need a material. Double click here to create a new material. Drag and drop this material in the sky, double click on the material, uncheck color and reflectance, and check luminescence. In luminescence, the sky will light your scene. You have to put here a nice HDRI. So you can go on Google and you will find all of those awesome HDRI. HDR for free on the website HDRI Lab. Okay, I will select, for example, this one. Up, okay. And the goal of an HDRI is to create an environment, and you will be able to see it in the reflectance of your objects. Okay, so the different HDR will affect differently your final render. So try a lot of HDR. I will show you my final project to show you where I put lighting. Lighting is very huge part. You will find some awesome tutorials on the internet. I guess this tutorial is now too long, and I just will give you some tips. So I add an HDR. Okay. I add light, a surfacic, an area light. Okay, with area shadows. It's very important. It's a better way to light your scene. It's a way to add some shadows just here, and have this nice white part. Okay, I also add a big light to have a good atmosphere, and I add a sunlight by behind to surround my objects. Okay, it's more easier for your eyes to see the object. Use different color. Here it's perfect white, and my sun is a little orange. It's really nice to add different color. Here it's more white, here it's more orange. And you just have then to create the final render. So in render settings, I really like to use the PNG format, and for my multipasses I use PSD or OpenEXR. You will find other tutorials on internet about multipass, etc. etc. Okay, I hope you liked this video. I hope it was very helpful for you. Don't stay with me, because I have a gift for you. If you need more information, more course, you can go on this website, type Sylvain Favre, it's my name. It's French course, but I can give you a reduction to buy them if you want, if you still want to watch those formation. To have this reduction, go on Facebook and find me, Sylvain Favre, and send me a message. It will be nice. Okay, hope everything was clear and helpful for you. See you soon. Don't forget to subscribe, thumbs up, and if you want to say something in comment, I will be very happy to read it. So have a nice day. Ciao.